Hello and welcome to the L Daily Podcast, better known as the EDP, where we talk about all things to inspire and elevate our lives and the lives of those around us. I'm your host, Ellen Roers, and you can call me Elle. Most days it's just us, you and I together, but monthly I'll bring on an inspirational guest to interview. Once I introduce them, you'll know exactly why I picked them and how they'll inspire us. If you're a return guest, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe and hit the like or notification. That way you'll be notified on any new posts, episodes, and it does help me grow too. With that, let's jump right into today's show, for it is a great one. And again, I'm so happy you're here. Hello and welcome to part 2 of episode 6. So what I've done for you is I've broken down the interview that I had with Dale Creed Francis into 2 parts. So part 1 being more on the investment real estate side. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur, maybe you want to be a real estate investor, get involved with some of the real estate development that's out there, then you're going to want to listen to part 1. Part 2 is more mindset and kind of just getting through the day-to-day. If you're one that's ever experienced imposter syndrome, which I think all of us being human have experienced that, you're almost like, man, am I worthy of what I have, or can I do it? All normal feelings. And you know what? It's just about what can I do to stay focused, inspired, and to know I am worthy of all of the greatness coming my way. That's really what it's about. Enjoy today's podcast. I know that you will all see why Creed has inspired me and how he'll inspire you. Creed, before I formally introduce you, why don't you say a quick hello so my guests can hear that voice of yours?
Okay. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
You are from the good old Midwest. You're an Iowa boy, an expert real estate investor, especially when it comes to hard asset investing through DPRE, which is short for Direct Participation Real Estate. Creed co-founded Vincent Company with his partner Ryan Litfin. Along with being a brilliant real estate investor, Creed is also an author. He's a radio star, and not to mention podcast host, Trends with Benefits, which, by the way, is the podcast station I'm in today, and it's so fun to be here. So thank you for having me here. So this was a long introduction of all your business success. But now we get to the fun part. This is the part I love. How has Creed inspired me? So Creed, this is where you might be a little uncomfortable.
I'm blushing.
Okay.
I'm blushing.
But as Delta says it best, Delta Airlines, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. The first thing I noticed about Creed was the way he treated the staff at Lola's Lake House in Waconia, Minnesota. I had just turned my car in. It was the last day of my med device job, and I was about to start at a new company. So I went to Lola's to celebrate by myself, but hey, that's okay. Well, then I see him there, and we got to talking. Like I said, I really admired him from the get-go, based on his warm personality, genuine heart, and care to others. We spoke some about growing up in Iowa, his grandmother, Beulah. Did I say her name right?
Yeah, Beulah.
I love that name.
Oh, isn't it something?
Yeah.
Don't see that every day.
No, I love it. No. So we talked about grandma and business. The senior living side is really what jumped out. So you actually did share, and I know you've talked about it recently in a podcast of yours too. It was a beautiful story about your grandma, and it was after she had her stroke, and she talked about not feeling as purposeful or having a purpose.
Yes.
And it really touched me. I could hear the empathy in your voice, the empathy on my nurse side of me too. It really just touched me. Mm-hmm. And again, I felt that emotion through you and your voice, and and just all the love that you do have for the seniors out there. So you're definitely providing them with some purpose and passion at these senior homes. And it got me thinking about my grandma Ellen. In the last few years, she lived at an assisted living facility on the memory care side. And with her dementia, she needed to be there. It was St. Ben's in Monticello, so much like some of the ones you have. Yep. And I knew that she was safe, she had full-time care, and it took the burden off the family. So I know it takes a village to take care of some of our senior folks, and they need that joy and love and purpose. And the days I would visit and see her, they'd be in the dining hall, or sometimes she'd go to the beauty parlor, church, and just different activities. And the one day that just brightened my day, they were all in the little community section, and they had music. So music for her was, she didn't have that memory all the time.
Right.
But when these songs would come up, it was Edelweiss. I don't know if you know Edelweiss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bless My Homeland Forever. Yeah. So that was the song that was on, and she was just singing it and grinning. And it was so cute because she knew every word. So anyways, I can go on and what you're doing to make a difference. I know you've got billions of quotes and stories, but I want the guests to hear more from you now. So it is time to really dive into this interview. And I've got some questions for you. I'm like, where do I start? Let's start with this one. It ties in my last podcast. So my last podcast, I mentioned success. And it is different to all of us. You know, we all have different ideas of success and what it means. So what is success to you? What is it all about?
To me, it's just progress in someone's life, making a difference, being able to wake up each day and know, hopefully you're doing what you love. I do what I love. And I feel bad sometimes talking about how much I love what I do because there's a lot of people that don't. I want to encourage them to never feel like it's too late to do it. When you want to change something in your life and you want to follow your dreams, I mean, that's a little overused, right? But we got to have dreams. When you feel like you're following your dreams, I think that gives you the purpose in your life right there. And you feel like each day you're doing something that is valuable. It's really not about money. And as we go through, I think we're going to talk about that more because I know you have the same view. Yeah. It's not about money. I think that when you do certain things that you love, they manifest themselves into money, into assets, into love, into joy,
abundance all around, right? That to me is
all around. And to me, that's the main thing. I don't have the secret sauce to anything. It's my heart. So
that to me is success right there. So, and purpose is success too. So
yeah, just becoming better. You know, if I can't become better each day, then what am I doing? I've got a friend of mine. Not to get. I'm sorry if I'm getting off the path here, but no, I've got a friend of mine who's close to 90 years old, and I've always had great older mentors of mine, but this guy says, well, he'll text me or call me and Creed, hey, you're in the area, let's stop and let's have a cocktail and talk about what's been happening. We'll do it. And he'll say every time, if you can't have a little fun, you might as well be dead. Right?
And I think that's brilliant.
You have to have that no matter what you're doing.
Yes. I think we sometimes forget to have fun. And that is one of my things. I say this a lot. And I know some people might think I'm a bit crazy to say it, but I love to make every day feel like vacation. So if you can celebrate every day, because just waking up, you know, you think when you go to sleep, you don't have to think about your heart beating. You don't have to think about taking a breath. Your lungs breathe for you. Your heart keeps beating and the blood flows and you wake up magically and you're there. And so to me right there, that is something to celebrate. So celebrate those little things every day. So, all right, next question. You are an entrepreneur and a successful one at that. So if you could do anything else, what would it be? And I know it's hard for me to think of anything better than hard assets with DPRE and all the other things that you have going on. But any other dream, passion, we can even set money aside, right? Because we know it's like you said earlier. What would you say?
I just want to do more of the L podcast.
Well, I mean, I will have you on anytime. So
that's probably my biggest dream that I've now reached.
All right, now let's bring it to something for real.
I absolutely love doing business. I used to golf a lot. Yeah. I grew up fishing and hunting and everything. I don't do it much anymore. I just love doing what I do. I love doing business. That's a good place to be. And creating new things, creating a new book or whatever it is. And
I know you like some karaoke, I hear.
I'll do a little singing here and there. Yeah. But I love, people ask me that, like, what do you do other than work? Well,
yeah, what is fun? We just talked about fun.
If you love what you do, this is old cliche. You never work a day in your life. So I do that and I go, oh, I love doing that. I collect watches.
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool.
And sort of vehicles, sort of cars. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not like I have a collection of things from the Model A to the Bugatti. But I do that. But watches are something that I really enjoy researching, finding unique ones, and purchasing them and adding to a collection.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah. You have a beautiful one on there now.
This is the Rolex Deep Sea, Deep Blue, James Cameron edition, based on his movies. It's a diver watch.
Love the blue. All right. So next question for you.
Yeah.
So over the past 15 plus years, and I know you've been in real estate longer than 15 plus years, but I'm thinking just with your Vincent Company, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 15.
So that's impressive. So definitely we're celebrating there. And I know that you have had over 5,000 new rental units, or basically a direct investment with Vincent DPRE, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's very, very impressive. You've had a very long-term record, just, when I heard that and saw that. So if you knew then, like 15 plus years ago, before you started this journey, what would you tell yourself in the early days when you started the Vincent Company?
Be patient.
Okay. I like that.
I'm not very patient. So be more patient. I've gotten better at it. I've gotten to be where I understand that just because it doesn't happen right now, there's probably a reason, and that door will probably open at some other point. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. But yeah, patience, and then just focus on, who I am, who we are, and what we do.
Yeah.
And I had to make a big decision early on in this business regarding property management. And real estate's not the only thing I do, but it is the core. It's it's something I started like you said 25 years ago, and I needed to make a big decision of whether I wanted to grow the business bigger and give up some of my money by having somebody else manage it versus managing myself. And I managed everything myself up till about 400 units.
Okay. Wow.
And then when I started having heart palpitations, I went, wait a second here.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. So it was either hire others and pay them.
Yeah.
or die was another option, which I didn't like.
No.
That was pretty permanent. And then it was or stay where I'm at with this, which was good.
Yeah.
And keep doing it. Well, I put the property management in place, and immediately over the next few years, I was able to focus on acquiring new properties, developing new properties, put my time to that versus managing it and dealing with the renters and whatever, or the plumbers and whatever. And then that's just exploded the business. So
you planted that seed early on, which is great.
Yeah. It's kind of like the work smarter versus harder thing,
Yeah. I interrupted you though. You tell people you were going to say something about. I tell people that it's if you want to ultimately grow bigger, which is not necessarily some people's goal, and that's fine. Yeah.
You have to then look outside yourself. You can't do it yourself. The whole thing about self-made is ridiculous. Anyone that ever says that, I have to question, because no one's self-made.
I feel like you've been a team along the way.
Oh, I'm probably the dumbest person at my company. Everybody that I have is phenomenal, and they're the ones that make it happen. I've put people in place around me that I can trust and know what I want. I know what they can do, and somehow we make it happen. I don't know.
I love it. That's great. You must be a good leader. I'm sure they love working with you and for you. So
to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower.
There you go.
So I started off following, a lot.
Yeah, well,
a lot of mentors.
We're going to talk about that too. I want to know some of your mentors. So
you bet.
Yeah. So if somebody was listening to this podcast today, in your opinion, we're going to just start with the personality traits and some of the mindsets. But what would you say would be the top personality traits, mindsets that somebody would need? Objective. Yeah.
It's something that I've worked hard at myself over the years to be objective, business-wise, politically, anything, because it's impossible to know what you don't know. There's so much more that I don't know than I do know. So I tell people, be objective, because if your mind's open, it's like a parachute. Yeah. It only works when it's open. If it's closed, well, you fall to your death. You don't know Nobody wants that.
No.
So I say be objective and learn.
I love that.
Because what's life if you're not learning? Again, if you're not learning, you're probably going backwards.
Right. And that advice is good for all arenas of our life, whether it's real estate. Yeah. I mean, objectivity and learning, those are two key components for sure. But, we talked a lot about business. I want to, my podcast is really about the inspiration on a daily level, right? So things that inspire us to get to where we are. So again, you have had a lot of success in your life, but without the mindset that you have, kind of taking care of your, body, spirit, mind, all of it comes hand in hand to be successful. And so I want to learn a little bit more about the fun side, right?
Okay. All right. Fine.
Yeah. So let's go back to your 20s. When you were in your 20s, what did you want to do or think you would do?
So I played football and baseball in college and was pre-med. I was working towards being an orthopedic surgeon, which kind of played into the sports thing.
That.
Well, I love that. I still am intrigued by it so much.
No, you'd be great at that. So, hey, I know a lot of orthopedic surgeons. That's my line of work, or was.
There you go. So didn't go that route. Ended up going the business route. I had an opportunity at the time before deciding to go to med school or to start this business, which we haven't talked about, nor will we need to. But it was a company that had the opportunity to start at that time. And my business partner, Ryan, he affectionately says that the med school had the decision in it more than me, but I'll let him have that one. That's probably a little truth to that. Had a short career in baseball too, a little stint in the Reds organization, very short, might say had a cup of coffee with them. And then, to dream about that, probably wouldn't be doing that today.
All right. Well, hey, so it sounds like to me, just hearing you talk about it, you feel that you might even be in a better place than what you imagined in your 20s. Would that be fair to say?
Far better. Yeah. I've actually, it's not the first time I've had that question asked. And I feel like I am in way better position now because I can't imagine really today myself being that surgeon and having, I don't know, like that lifestyle, that demand. Like I have a lot of freedom now for what I do. And I love what I do. So I can't imagine it being any different than that. And so I've thought about it over the years, but I feel like I'm in a much better place because now I still have surgeons, physicians, pro athletes, professional entertainers that come to me and I work with them and we interact and we do investments together. And so it's like kind of the best of both worlds, I guess. Yeah,
it really is. Well, I'm happy for you. So we're going to go to some of those the mindset. I talk again a lot about mindset on my podcast. I think it's so powerful to be thinking positive thoughts, but I know it's natural for all of us. We're human, right? Sometimes we have thoughts, memories, limiting beliefs, and they get stuck in the subconscious mind. So often we can catch them, but a lot of times if it's in the subconscious, you don't catch it. So I'm curious, and if you're not comfortable sharing, I completely understand. We can breeze by this one because it's a bit more personal, but I think it will help others out there to understand somebody successful like you that, you do maybe get the imposter syndrome or have some limiting beliefs that you've dealt with along the way and that you're continually striving to work on and become better. So, so do you have any and what do you do if you catch them?
So is this a cold case podcast now at this point? Because we're digging deep into the psyche.
Yeah, I'm kind of going into my psychotherapy here now. I'm just going to start to hypnotize you if you're okay with that. I've already done it. If you didn't realize,
whatever you do not have me in the corner clucking like a chicken. Okay, let's not do that.
Oh, that's not what we do. No, but hey,
absolutely, you have these. That is. I think this is not something to breeze over.
Okay, good.
I think it is. I think it's powerful. I think it might be the most important question you've asked.
Thank you. I should have put it first. Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't want to start too personal. Yeah, I thought we'd let the crowd warm up to you a bit.
Right, and I would have gotten scared and ran off and whatever.
It's true.
No, I think about the things, time to time, where I'm from. I'm a farm boy. I'm a farm boy from Iowa. What could he possibly know? Why am I doing this? Do I deserve it? Or am I, what, how did I get here? Do I, they'll say, I grew up in a traditional Lutheran church. I mean, money's evil.
Yeah. Oh, that's something that I will say, in the Catholic faith too. It doesn't always feel, I mean, yes, I hear you there. Like, I understand that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this isn't, you and I talked about this before the podcast. This is not about money, but with success in anything you do, it often equates to that. And I say, I tell people never focus on that. Your goal should never be money. It manifests into, it's a byproduct of doing the right
what
thing.
You love and doing,
exactly.
Doing the right thing.
But I think that when those money is evil things in the mind, there's a saying also that says the only thing harder than creating great wealth is keeping it.
Yeah.
So you start to,
you feel that lack in a way, and then it just lack breeds lack in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. You do. You feel, there's times when I feel like, well, because I know of circumstances, when you build wealth, a lot of people want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people want to take it in one way or another. I think that's how we've become a litigious society. Mm-hmm. Lawsuits over everything, and everybody's looking for their opportunity to sue. So,
but you can do so much good with it too. I think the reason I have this desire to make money is one, so I can live a comfortable life and do whatever I want to do and have the time and means to make a difference in the world and to enjoy life. But I also think give and to not even think about it, just to give freely. And actually, I think the more that we do give our money freely, the more that it comes our way.
That's hitting at the heart of me. I do a lot of giving that no one ever knows about. I do it anonymously because I don't care that, and I do things in ways I'm not going to disclose what a couple of these are. I love doing that way. I love doing it in the element of surprise for people. So I do that. I like that a lot. I love to give.
I do too.
I love to do it at my own free will.
Yep, 100%. So, all right, well, good. That was a good segue into this next question.
Oh boy.
No, it's a simpler one. So what is the most important lesson or failure that you've learned from, and why are you grateful for it? So this is where, I mean, you kind of said it earlier, where everything happens for a reason. So if you have that mindset, I think you can always find the good in everything. So in your experience, whether it was a happy lesson or where you failed, did you learn from it? Are you grateful for it? Kind of elaborate on something like that.
Yeah, a lot of failures actually, and I've learned more from failures than I have from successes. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple that jump out. There's a saying that I created 25 probably years ago. As I call it, maybe my life mantra that I live by, and I try to tell people this as often as I can. But my saying is that people with integrity expect to be believed. Mm-hmm. And when they're not, they let time prove them right. Ooh, and know that it's never failed me. And I say never's a tough word to use.
Yeah, it is.
It's never failed me. Now that didn't mean that it worked out the next day. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's years. But people with integrity expect to be believed, and when they're not, they let time prove them right. And with patience, that's been the biggest thing for me to live by. Because if you live by that and you're not a con, it always proves you. It works out.
It works out. Yep. Good things happen to
100% of the time.
Yeah, I love that saying. Good things happen to good people. I believe that without a doubt. So, well, some people are morning routine people. Some people aren't. I can be one that changes it up here and there. But I'm just curious. Do you have like something that works well for you, or is there kind of a specific time of the day that's your best time of the day, where you're like, this is where I need to get the most critical work done?
I've never been a great morning person.
Really? Okay.
I mean, time to here and there. Coffee works good for me.
Yeah.
So I get up, coffee, and then work out maybe along with a sauna, maybe some more coffee after that.
Yeah.
And I really then would say I hit my stride. Really productive time for me is late morning into early mid afternoon.
Okay.
I'm just in a zone there and can focus really good.
Good for you. I'm the opposite of you. I'm a morning person. I love just get me up, get me a little coffee, and I am ready to roll.
I don't like people like you.
No, my sister, well, I should say in the younger years, now both my sisters are morning people too, but I was a little too chipper for a lot of the family members.
Hell, yeah. Shut up over there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, let's see. We're going to go to your top books or even maybe a podcast besides yours. Of course, we can't, we'll recommend that one, but
no, it's not nearly as good as these that I'm going to talk about.
All right. Well, yes. Tell us what you would say for kind of your top inspiration when it comes to books or podcasts.
Well, there's a lot of great books out there, but timeless for me are the How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, which somebody handed to me when I was about 22 years old, and it changed my life.
That's a great
and one. I thanked him many times. It was Bill Sargent, by the way. My
Bill, good old Bill.
And I said, Bill, the only thing I wish is that you would have given me this when I was like 15. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm glad I read it when I was 22 and not 42, whatever.
Right.
So that's phenomenal and still stands the test of time. Think and Grow Rich is phenomenal. It's not just about money. It's how to think to be successful in whatever you do. That's phenomenal. And then anything by Zig Ziglar.
Yeah,
and he's just phenomenal. So funny. And he comes across, he's just inspirational as can be. But I don't know if you're familiar with The Secret. That's relatively more new.
Yeah, no,
it's a newer thing.
I love The Secret.
But wow, I think you can believe it's all energy.
It's all energy. Yeah, I've got so many studies basically test the mind and the energy that flows outside of your brain.
Yeah.
There's electrical fields that express energy. So it's amazing. So yes, I believe in that big time. And that is why I love mindset so much. And the Think and Grow Rich, the thing I liked about that, I know
Napoleon Hill, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of controversial. Some people said he was the biggest fraud back in the day, but I was like, I still love that book. And it is a lot about mindset and making things happen.
Well, that's being objective. That's objectivity. No one was perfect. That's why I see tearing down statues of people from the past is not helping anybody because no one was perfect.
No.
They did certain things. How about we learn about, there's their statue. Here's what they did good. And you know what? Here's what they did bad too. Let's not do that again.
Right.
And so, Napoleon Hill, he could have been an awful, awful human being. That book doesn't change the fact that that doesn't change the fact that book can change your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Objectivity. Be objective about that, and nobody's perfect. And back to that brain energy study, they did one on me. They never found any activity.
I highly doubt it.
No, I'm serious. All zero, flatlined. I can't. It's unbelievable.
All right. Well, we're going to test it again. But hey, you know what? You're sure good at making things happen. So whatever you're doing for abundance, you got the secret down. So hey, before we wrap it up, I want to know what is next? The next 5 years, what will I see? What will I hear? What are you thinking?
You're going to see a very, very tan Creed.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Fat looks better tan. That's all I have to say. That's the way it is. No, I mean, I've had homes in various areas. The thing that I'm searching for now is where do I really want to be? That is me.
Yeah.
And I've been looking into some horse ranches outside of Nashville area.
Wonderful.
That seems very me, and it's just gorgeous. Not that I'm going to leave Minnesota. I love it. I'm Iowa, Minnesota. I'm never going to leave the Midwest. I think I'm going to be consulting more.
Good.
Going to write it. Probably, I've got plans for another book to follow this one up, kind of a volume 2 thing. So
you'll be busy.
I think so.
Busy, but having fun, which is good.
So.
Yeah. Spice of life.
I'll still find my way to a happy hour occasionally.
Okay, good. Finally, one of my favorite questions that I plan to ask all my guests, I always want to close with this. what inspires you or elevates you most on a daily basis? It can be anything action-wise, anything related, body, mind, and spirit, thoughts, whatever comes to your mind first.
Creating. I love creating things, and that's why having good people around me to take my ideas and what I want to create and help me bring those to fruition is huge. Part of that's just the mild OCD in me, my lack of patience. I'm constantly wanting to do new things and create new things. I'm kind of a marketing guy at heart.
Yeah, I can see that.
But that comes into everything you do. And so, I threw a billboard on 494 one time regarding my book, and it was a black billboard, and in white lettering in the Got Milk font, it said "Got Protection?" ? Oh, and it had my Preventative Wealth Care website at the bottom, and it made all kinds of people think. I mean, the response was incredible, and that's all that was on the billboard.
Simple.
And so I like doing that kind of thing.
Good. How can our guest or my guest get a hold of you? Where and how can we find you?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. One way is dalecreedfrancis.com. Now, if you want to go right to the company that we've mostly been talking about here, Vincent Companies, just go to vincentcos.com.
Thank you. I mean, you've been, like I said, a huge inspiration in my life for the very short bit that I've known you. It's only been a few years, but I've learned a lot from you along the way. I'm happy that we were able to do this tonight. So thank you so much. And we will be talking soon. And to all my guests out there, thank you for being here. Sending you all so much love, and I will see you next time.